Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ashley McLaughlin, Managing Director for the LPGA Women's Network, and I'm joined here with a distinguished panel, executives from the LPGA Women's Network's founding partners. The LPGA Women's Network is a new online community designed to inspire and engage women with the game of golf and to create a more welcoming and inviting environment in the golf industry for female amateurs. We're excited to have you all join us today and talk about something that your businesses are all experts and thought leaders in, the space of diversity and inclusion, an area where here at the LPGA we also want to be at the forefront of in making golf a more welcoming environment for the female amateur. I'm going to introduce our distinguished panel. I'll start with Lee Hiranuma with Dow. Lee is the Commercial Director for Olympic Sports and Solutions in North America. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Sue Townsend from KPMG, who's a Partner and Chief Diversity Officer. Eileen Welly from XL Catlin, the Executive Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer. And Cesar Sanchez, Manager of Sports Marketing for Kia Motors America. Thank you all for joining us and engaging in this conversation with us today. Obviously, inclusion and diversity is an important topic in many industries, in golf in particular. The LPGA Women's Network is really developed to help bring more women to the game of golf. And so I'd like to start with the ladies on the panel. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the game of golf. How did you get it started? What inspired you to pick up the game?
Well, really following along the theme of invitation, I started golfing right out of college when I joined the firm. So starting at KPMG 31 years ago, I was invited to play golf, and I had never played before. But yet I had family members who played, and so I realized that it could become a business tool at that point in my life. And so I just learned with family members and started working with some of the PGA teaching pros at a nearby driving range. And I found that it was just such a wonderful way to connect with both my colleagues, because we were doing annual golf tournaments at the firm, as well as connecting with my clients, but not until I got enough confidence to actually be able to know that I could get around a course.
Right.
I've always loved scrambles because they work so much better for my game. But that connection is just, it's such a different way to develop relationships with people, because you're spending, depending on how, 9 holes or 12 or 18 holes, up to 4 hours with them on a course, talking about life and business and everything, and developing a special bond that you frankly don't get when you're just in an office or in a meeting.
Absolutely. And a lot of those benefits to playing the game of golf are important for women in particular, particularly if they're
Absolutely.
in business. Tell me a little bit about the intimidation factor. How did you break that down at the beginning stages?
Well, I was lucky enough to be playing with some of my colleagues, the young men, who were also not great golfers. So it wasn't like I was going out and, playing with people who had a 5 handicap.
Mm-hmm.
And once I realized that, then the intimidation factor went away, because what I learned very early on is that a guy who's picked up a golf club once says, "I'm a golfer,"
Mm-hmm.
where a girl's like, "Oh, I don't golf," and yet. And that's what I try to encourage our young women to do. Once you've learned the game, learned the rules, learned how to hold a club, then you're a golfer.
Absolutely.
And most of the men score just as bad as I do.
Absolutely. And you know what? A lot of that translates into the business world as
That's right.
well. When it comes time for a woman to step up and take a leadership role, those same sort of barriers in their confidence are what
Right.
make them a little hesitant to do so. Eileen, tell us a little bit about your experience with the game of golf and what inspired you to play.
So I learned to play as a young adult socially. So we had a group of friends. We lived in Houston, Texas. They all played golf, and they sort of urged me to get out there and play. A little bit different experience probably. I was always the worst golfer in the group. And once I had children, that became my excuse to not, play too much. But as my career grew, I did play mostly in scrambles, praying that I would have a shot that they could use, since that was one of the rules. But I'm probably one of those women that, because I feel very accomplished in a lot of other ways, not being a good golfer at some point led me to say, yeah, I don't really play anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I constantly think about, should I start again? My husband plays, not very often though. And so I think as I look at women coming up, there's no question in my mind that if you play golf, and again, you're right, you don't have to be perfect, as so many of us think we need to be, but you know the rules, you understand it, you can talk the game, that's all it really takes to get out there. And most men, not all, but most men accept that, and you're missing something if you sort of bow out. When invited, you should accept. And I actually talked to a woman today who said, I invite myself now. She's that confident.
That's great.
And that's really, I think, what our goal should be.
Right. Just empowering women to step
Yeah.
up and say, you know what, I don't have to be perfect at this, but I
Right.
can take a swing, I can give it a try, and I can have just as much fun as the guys are having out there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wonderful. It's such a fun way to spend the day.
It
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
And Lee and Caesar, I know you both, like the rest of us, are golf dabblers. From your perspective, your company's partnership with the LPGA and the LPGA Women's Network, why is it important for you, for your companies, to be partnering with a women's sports organization in particular?
Yeah, I think for Kia Motors of America, the biggest thing, like I mentioned earlier, is the passion of golfers, whether they're female or male, and tapping into that passion. And we're excited to partner with the LPGA and extend our partnerships into the Women's Network because we know it's growing. Our numbers have grown with the female audience of our vehicle buyers. And we look at this as an opportunity to tap into that market and that audience that may not know our brand. And we've been a partner with the LPGA, I think going on 8 years as an official marketing partner. We have the Kia Classic, we're going to our 9th year. So we have a long history there. It's worked for us, and for us is really getting excited with the LPGA and this new venture and tapping into the right people and continue to network really with both the amateur and people who might be so-called professional golfers.
Aren't we all?
Exactly. And again, just having fun with it and creating those experiences that we feel we can create with our brand as well.
Absolutely. We're excited about that too. How about you,
Yeah,
Lee?
for Dow, we've been involved with golf for a long time, and so we sell a lot of products into the golf industry. Being associated with the network allows us to take all the work we've done in the diversity and inclusion and help advance that into a broader society. So being able to use the experience to help career advice and advancement for our members will also be a significant help for us.
Absolutely. And what's interesting to me is that Dow, in terms of the sports space, you sponsor the Olympics, NASCAR, and now the LPGA, which is a pretty incredible statement to be making. So we're pretty excited about all of your partnership here with us today. And you all do some great work in the diversity and inclusion space. I'd love to hear in your thoughts what you think the golf industry could be doing better to make the space more welcoming for the female amateur. Anyone want to take a stab at that question?
I mean, I'll start. I think you guys are doing a fantastic job. We love our partnership with the LPGA and the PGA both. It's so important because things like Golf 101 and this women's network, it's creating vehicles for us to encourage our women to use golf as a business tool, business and social. But from my perspective, I want all of our women using it because it's just another one of those tools in their tool belt, right? As they think about how they're developing strategic relationships with clients, how they're getting involved in their communities, and being able to have that connection, to be able to learn the game, to be able to learn from their desk now with the videos and other things. I think those are the kind of things that I can get our networks involved with. So our network of women, we can set up events, we can get them involved, and to me that drives that awareness and opportunity to be able to build a skill that's going to help them be more successful in business.
Absolutely. Anyone else that want to take that
I would
question?
say the connect and inspire piece, right? So being able to communicate out to the broader audience to share the experience with golf and how it can help advance you socially and from a career standpoint is important. So again, the connection piece, and then also helping the players grow, right?
And one of the things that we're so excited about, just along the topics of diversity, is, it's such an important thing to implement inside an organization for innovation. And so being able to work with companies like yourself who are leaders in your industry and work together and collaborate, I think this is something that could be really powerful for the women's game, just sort of collaborating on some initiatives that are going to grow it long term.
And the women are so good. If when I get our young women who aren't golfers out, particularly if they come to the tournament we sponsor, they see those women playing, and it's just amazing to watch them. And I think that really inspires them to get involved as well.
Absolutely.
So we got to get them on the course during the tournaments.
That's the first step, right?
Yeah.
It's breaking down those barriers. You can do it. You can play. It's not as hard as you think it is, and it's actually pretty fun. So I'd love to give everyone an opportunity to share a little bit about what you're excited about in terms of this partnership. So what's on the horizon? This is a new platform for the LPGA. We're in a digital space. I know, Kia, you're known for your innovation and really unique marketing strategies. What excites you about utilizing a digital platform to reach women in this space?
Yeah, we have a CEO who's very excited about what digital and social can do for us, and he's always challenging us on how we can grow those channels and those audiences. And I think this is a perfect opportunity, taking what we do on the golf course and taking what we do when we bring out our vehicle displays and have people interact with the cars and really learn about our product. This is another example of how we can just take it a step further and say, here's another channel where we could probably reach a big audience that we probably haven't tapped into. And again, knowing that the LPGA is fully behind this and is a passion point, it's an easy sell for us to get involved. We're always trying to maximize what we do at every single event and with every partnership that we have, and this is a perfect example of something that's going to allow us to do that. Again, socially, digitally, but at the same time bringing people out, hopefully, to the golf course to play more games and interact with our product.
Absolutely. Yeah, the digital component is huge, particularly for reaching a large and different audience. Face-to-face is also super important, particularly for women, right? It's all about community building, having that face-to-face engagement, networking and meeting people, which is what makes, I think, this community, in addition to our alliance with the EWJ, so special. Being able to partner with you all to create events for women to connect online, then meet together and really reinforce those relationships will be pretty tremendous. Do you have something you would say?
Well, so we're just, for KPMG, women's leadership is such an important topic. It's something we're so focused on. And this relationship, the partnership, is really just another platform for us to help, give a voice for some of the amazing leaders that we've had speaking at our KPMG Women's Leadership Summit.
Right.
They can share their stories on the network, because as we think about building women leaders, it's both on and off the golf course.
Absolutely.
So,
Extended relationship.
Exactly. So being able to, connect digitally with women across the network and highlight, again, some of the leaders who are outside of KPMG that have worked with us on the Women's Leadership Summit, as well as our own leaders. We're really excited about being able to do that.
Absolutely. So being able to inspire women first is the first step, but then connecting with them with somebody on the ground to sort of hold their hand and lead them along the way, both in golf and professionally as well, is pretty critical.
Right. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Which actually leads me to a great question, and I'd like to get a little personal for a minute, if you don't mind. Speaking in terms of mentorship, that's an important piece of the puzzle when it comes to creating an inclusive environment that's welcoming, where people feel compelled to connect and engage with one another. Did you all in your professional careers have a mentor or a sponsor, someone who helped you get to your current position professionally? Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
Oh, yes. I didn't have just one. I think I've had a number of sponsors in my life, which has been awesome. And I would distinguish between mentors and sponsors because I've had sponsors, and those are people who are literally in a position to get you to the next place if you can prove yourself. And I had a gentleman